I have very short question.
I'll have a very short answer.
No.
Yes.
No.
Rock climbing. It's going well, huh?
I love that we are getting through so many questions.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Everyone gets, chance to ask you something.
I stole Hammond's phone, the red phone, to the president. I believe in little gray aliens. I wouldn't use Stargate as an educational program.
I did welcome you as a master of many languages of acting.
Yes.
And as Daniel was the language expert, among other things, there's an obvious question. Have you learned any Czech yet?
No.
Okay, maybe then we should teach you some basics, like Stargate in Czech. It's very easy. It's Hvězdná brána.
Come on, try a harder one. Come on.
Harder one then. Okay, when we the indeed in Czech, it's v skutku. Okay,
I'm trying to picture Christopher Judge saying skutku. Skutku.
Oh, very good impression. Do people anticipate from you in your real life that you can speak many languages?
No.
No? And can you speak any?
No.
Okay, this is going to be a hard one. Well, Daniel was a great expert, on Egyptology and history and everything. Is there anything you are a particular expert in?
No.
It's going well, huh?
Not like even, I don't know, acting?
The Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, hockey.
Yes.
I thought so. So you know all of these statistics and when they won everything and who...
When they won?
I'm not an expert on Canadian football, hockey, sorry.
Well, you just have to be an expert on the Vancouver Canucks. All you have to know is that they don't win.
Ever?
We're waiting.
And on the contrary, is there anything you cannot do at all? Like it doesn't matter how hard you try, but you can never master that thing?
That list is long.
And any examples?
Rock climbing.
You tried rock climbing?
Yeah, tried it. Not very good at it.
And any tragic accidents or?
Yeah, I died.
Oh, how was that?
I came back.
Oh, you are very good at that. Well, let's talk about the SG-1 for a little bit, because are there any fans of Stargate here?
So no?
Because we just had Rick here, Richard D. Anderson, in the spring in Prague, and
I'm sorry.
But now we have you, so it's all good. No, but the thing is, it seemed like he was doing improv, ad-libbing his lines for a lot of the time, while you had to learn all those long, expert-filled lines. Wasn't that kind of infuriating for you?
Yes. I will say this. Richard said to me in the first days of the show, after I'd done one of those passages, and he said, well, now you're screwed. And I said, why? And he goes, because you can do it really well. They're going to keep making you do it. And I went, oh, no, they won't. But he would literally, if they gave him more than what he called the rule of thumb, if his lines were on the page were longer than his thumb, he would screw it up to show that he couldn't do anything longer than that, and then they never gave him anything longer than that to do.
Oh, such a smartass.
Yeah, and he didn't tell that story, did he? No, I didn't tell that.
No, he didn't. Well, that was going to be my follow-up question. What's the common ground between you and Daniel Jackson, where Michael Shanks and Daniel Jackson overlap?
I think we're both really stubborn. And we're both played by Michael Shanks. It would be a lot funnier if we were both played by James Spader.
By the way, have you ever talked with James Spader about being Daniel Jackson? Did he ever comment on your portrayal of this role, or you just never talked about it?
I don't know him. We've never met. He's never been near our set or anything like that. Kurt Russell was on our set. He was filming a movie called 3,000 Miles to Graceland on our lot. And I guess they invited him to do a walk-on role on the show, and he said no to that, but he said, I'd love to come over and see what you guys are doing. So he did come over dressed as Elvis, which you do, and visited our set, and he commented on it. He said he really wanted to meet me because he wanted to meet the guy who looked and sounded just like Spader. And then I met him, and he was like, yeah.
I think that's even greater appreciation than from James Spader himself.
Yeah, I don't know if James would have much to say. I think he disowned the project after he did it. I heard he kind of did it for the money, but he kind of never wanted to see it again.
Oh, because I was wondering for another thing, because you said that you looked and sounded just like James Spader. Was that the reason? Because in the opening credits, there's names of everyone, but your name is the only one that has like S. Daniel Jackson. What was the reason for that?
That wasn't until I came back on the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was just because I was originally billed second in the first 5 seasons of the show, and then Amanda had the second billing after I left. So instead of taking it away from her, they just put me at the end with that. It's like a kind of like consolation prize credit or something. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was because people might, mistake you for James Spader, so they specifically has to say that Daniel Jackson is not being played by James Spader.
No one has ever mistook me for James Spader, mostly ever. So.
Well, talking about you coming back to the show, because when you came back, it was like 7th season, I guess, and the specific scene when you came back, you were rather unclothed.
Naked is the word.
Yeah,
naked.
is the word. What was that kind of a punishment for you for you daring to leave the show? Or and my follow-up question was if there was any CGI involved in that scene, or if you were really really naked.
What would that look like? I never took it as that when I read it. It made sense for him to, come back unclothed. It would make less sense for him not. I never took it as a punishment until the day we filmed it. And then I realized, because in March, in Canada, it's a little colder than other places. And we filmed it in a dog walking park. Just outside of Vancouver. And so people were walking their dogs and stopping to say, oh, what are they filming there? So it was a little uncomfortable and it was cold. So I could have used some CGI.
Trička s členy SG1 pořídíte na cctalks.cz/Stargate.
I was always wondering, because Daniel left for some time to live in the ascended plane of existence. What was he doing there? What was his life? I guess you're the only person that we can ask about this. What was he doing there? Like, how does your life in the ascended plane of universe existence look like?
You're naked most of the time. Beyond that, just regular stuff, you know, shopping and going for walks in dog parks and, you know, just things that people do in regular life, but you just do it naked. You ask the questions here, babe.
My bad. And do you personally, this is more of a serious kind of question, but do you believe in the higher planes of existence?
I believe in little gray aliens.
You do?
I do.
Like here on Earth, or that they are somewhere in the universe?
Both.
Oh, have you met any?
Just Thor.
Every morning in the bathroom? I meant in the mirror covering your face area, just to clear.
You sure that's what you meant?
I'm not sure what you meant by little Thor. Yeah.
Because if that were gray,
Oh.
I would need some medication, I would think, yeah.
Now I'm done with my questions. I've learned my
Thank
lesson.
God, okay.
And we have some time for audience questions.
Hi.
Hey. There was a lot of mythology in Stargate, and I like mythology, so I wonder, what is your favorite and why? And don't say no. Not that was. Don't say no.
Yeah, it's not a yes or no question.
That's my go-to response. Either Greek or Egyptian, one or the other. I learned the most of Greek in school, but Egyptian's more fun. But we took mythology and ruined it. So, you know, we kind of bastardized it. So it wasn't exactly like, I wouldn't use Stargate as an educational program.
Tak, spokojená s odpovědí? Lepší to nebude. Tak, we have audience question, which is, did you ever steal something from the set and kept it as a secret souvenir?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And how many things?
Oh boy. You know, not a lot. At the very end of the show, I stole a few things. I stole Hammond's phone, the red phone, to the president. That was after we finished shooting our last shots in season 10. And that same day, I walked off set and to my car and drove away in my entire uniform. So the whole bit, except for the guns, they wouldn't let us take those.
For some reason.
For some reason, I don't know why.
Throughout the series, Daniel Jackson looks kind of shifted away from the kind of goofy look he had in the original movie, played by James Spader. Was that like a deliberate decision to kind of make him look, I guess, cooler?
Not necessarily, but it was a deliberate decision to get away from the James Spader portrayal. One of the things I disagreed with, because I just thought it was goofy and typical, was the sneezing part from the movie. I thought that was just dumb. So I did disagree with that right at the beginning, going, we don't need to do that all the time. That's nerdy, cliche, lame. But the decision to cut my hair and things like that, after we found out, you're gonna have to make notes. When we were doing the show, we knew right away that we were going to do 44 episodes. So 2 years of the show, which never happens in entertainment nowadays, where you get guaranteed two seasons. halfway through the first season filming, they picked us up for 2 more seasons. And I had gotten cast because I did a good imitation of James Spader to do the part. That's how they wrote the character, and that's what they liked about my portrayal. Knowing that we were already going to do 4 years of the show, I went, whoa, I don't want to be stuck doing an imitation of James Spader for an entire run of a TV show. So I asked the producers, I said, can we start, slowly getting away from all of the that typical thing? They agreed, and that's why it sort of turned into a little more me and less Spader over the course of the show.
And you also got your gun, because in the first episodes, I don't think he...
He had a sidearm. He always had a sidearm, but they were trying to put an MP5 in my hands, and I said, that's not the character, guys. And then eventually I just said, give me the gun.
What were the shooting hours? What was your typical day like? Did you need a lot of coffee on set of SG-1?
They were long, and yes.
I love that we are getting through so many questions.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Everyone gets, chance to ask you something. Tak,
Short is the new long.
was there any episode that you really disliked and you were unhappy filming?
Oh, God, yeah. So many to choose from. I didn't like Hathor. What? Oh, you guys like that?
Yes. That's
Well, I'm not talking about Sue Ann. Come on, you guys. She's lovely. Yeah, there was a lot about that episode. There was a line I had about her being a queen bee that I tried so hard to get out of, and they made me say it. And it still sucks.
But Sue Ann, she was here last year actually, but she had some very lovely memories, especially that.
she's
scene,
lovely.
That scene when unzipping the jeans and the trousers. Yeah, she.
Whoa, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Were we on the same show?
Maybe not.
I don't think they were my jeans. That wasn't.
Not jeans. Not jeans.
Yeah,
The pants. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, she has a lot of fond memories, I guess. I thought it was. Rick and I were really not happy about that episode. He got turned into a Jaffa, which he did not like one bit. Daniel essentially got raped, right? I don't know how, and we're making jokes at the end of it, and it's kind of like, in a modern context, it's not, it's not, and yeah.
Yeah, they still show this episode, in the afternoons in the kids' blog. Yeah. For some reason.
See it? And the hot tub full of symbiotes.
Yeah, that was yuck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot about that episode.
Have you met David Nyklem? He's a Czech fan favorite actor from the SGA.
Yes.
Any fun memories? Did you like him? Did he?
He told me to come here.
He did. Oh.
Yeah. We were in. I never got a chance to work with David, and we only kind of met at a convention. And I asked him. We were in Wales 2 years ago, and I asked him where he was going from here, and he said he was coming to Comic-Con. I think the one in Prague.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Oh my God, that's so fantastic! I didn't know that they had one there." And he said, "Oh yeah, the show is very popular here," which apparently. He said, "You've got to go. I'll tell them that you're interested." And I said, "Sure, knock yourself out." So yeah, that's why I'm here, because David gave it the thumbs up.
Oh, that's such a nice thing. We didn't know.
Hello. Being an expert on Daniel Jackson, would you say that his motivation to exercise more was practical, or was it just looking every day at Teal, just picking heavy stuff up with much ease? No.
Well, no. The decision actually was more about when I left the show and I came back to the show. I realized, I'd experienced how much downtime, because it was my first ever TV show, experienced how much downtime actors tend to have on a show, and how much of our life wasn't getting done because of the limited hours that we had at home. Because we filmed 10 months out of the year, which is a long time, and we filmed every weekday for 14, 16 hours a day. So I went, you know what? I'm going to bring a weight set and put it in my room, and I'll get this done when I have the downtime instead of trying to do it at midnight or some crazy time. I'll do it at work, and that's kind of how that came about. Is I had more time and more energy at work to do the workouts there. So. Yeah.
Do you have any information about a new Stargate project? If so, will Daniel be a part of it?
No. I know everybody's curious about a new Stargate show. Amazon, who bought MGM, will do one. That's one of the main reasons why they bought MGM for $5-7 billion or something like that. They bought MGM, which MGM is a logo and a bunch of titles. That's it. They don't own anything but a tower. They don't even have a studio anymore. I can tell you this, that Brad Wright he'd been asked by MGM before COVID to write a script for a new pilot. COVID held that up. And then after Amazon bought MGM, Amazon looked at it and they wanted to look elsewhere to get a new show, or they're trying to decide what to do with it, and Brad was no longer involved in it. So how that goes forward, and in that script, I can tell you, Daniel was a part of it. In a new incarnation, I know nothing about who will be running it. I know nothing about who will be writing it. And I know nothing about where, how, and why it's going to be set and who's going to be involved. So I'm curious as anybody.
Well, thank for the inside look.
Hello there. Thank you very much for your hard work by playing Daniel Jackson. I was just wondering if you could tell us some, I don't know, Canadian joke, something like behind the scenes on a set. Like what happened to you or what you did to someone else from...
What I did to someone else. Can I tell this story? I can tell this story. Chris Judge liked to play pranks on people. And one day he and I, he was in my room and he wanted to, he always wanted to play a joke he called the turd burglar, which is going into someone else's trailer and leaving a poo in their toilet. So instead of that, he got the fake cookie dough, or the actual cookie dough, like the soft kind, and he rolled it up into a poo shape, and he left it in Ben Browder's toilet. And we were waiting for some reaction. He was sitting in my trailer waiting, and we were waiting for some reaction from Ben, and we didn't hear anything. And so we looked outside, and he was just sitting on his steps like this. And we said, Ben, didn't you see the big crap in your toilet? And he goes, oh, that was you guys? I was just sitting here wondering who the hell would do something like that. Later on, in an unrelated incident, my daughter had been to our set, and she had eaten chocolate pudding. So I was kind of like going to put it in the recycle, and I cleaned out the chocolate pudding cup, and I looked at the paper that the toilet paper I'd cleaned it out with, and I went, So I took this chocolate pudding covered toilet paper, and I threw it on Chris's floor in his trailer. And then I sat there waiting for a reaction from him. And he'd been filming all day, and then he was wrapped, and he'd been wearing his Jaffa armor. So he came running back out from the studio, went into his trailer, and we've shared a trailer position, so I could feel when he was coming in and out of his trailer, and he's a big guy. So I felt him go in, and I'm sitting there going, and then I hear him go out and close the door, and he's leaving. I look out, and he's leaving. He's in his civilian clothes, and he's going to leave. And I'm like, dude. He goes, what? I said, didn't you see the shit toilet paper that I put all over your floor? And he said, oh, that was you? I thought it fell out of my suit. What's disturbing about that is how that's the first place his brain went to was, oh, that must be mine.
Hello, thank you for coming. My question is about on the Stargate set. With whom do you like most on the set on Stargate?
Dr. Lamb.
Obviously.
Text.
I am contractually obligated to say that.
Okay. Thank you.
You can do it. There you go.
Takže já bych si chtěla zeptat, co je pravda o tom, že vás minulý rok z brněnského letiště poslali zpátky do Kanady.
Ooh, I can't wait for this.
Not sure about that. She wants to know if it's any true about the story that you got turned back from the Brno airport last year because you didn't have a valid passport.
I never made it to the Brno airport. Still haven't. I don't know. Is there an airport here?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I got turned back at the Vancouver airport because I didn't have a passport. Thank God.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask how was filming with Claudia Black, and if you have maybe some interesting stories you'd like to mention about filming with Claudia Black.
Well, we had a lot of fun. The episode Prometheus Unbound was supposed to be kind of it for her character, and obviously wasn't. So we enjoyed it so much, and it registered on camera on the show that they loved her character and wanted to obviously continue, which is how she ended up in seasons 9 and 10 full time. She was supposed to be a full-time character in season 9, but because they went and hired Ben Browder, they didn't want to do Farscape, the continuing adventures, so they only contracted her for 6 episodes. And our producers were going, no, guys, this is really great. Like, wait till you see, what we've done in the first few episodes with that dynamic. And after 2 episodes of seeing the dailies, Sci-Fi was like, oh yeah, we should have hired her for the season. So that's why she came back as a full-time character in season 10 when they should have hired her as a full-time character in season 9 because her character was so much fun and Daniel and Vala had such a fun dynamic. So fun stories. I can tell you a fun story about us first working together. The fight sequence that we had was not written that way. It was written to be kind of like an actual fight. And where Daniel's like acting like a frickin' ninja and stuff like this. And I said, whoa. what are we doing? This is not, this is while we were filming, and I'm like, Dan Shea, who was our stunt coordinator, who also played Sergeant Seiler, had done this actual fight. And I said, guys, that's not my character. First of all, A, he needs to get the crap beat out of him. And B, it needs to be funny. It can't be serious. And so that's how the fight ended up being what it was, including fire extinguishers to the nuts, is because we tried to do a funny fight sequence. And our producers we were shooting 2 episodes at the same time. So our producers were not watching us very carefully. So we kind of got to do whatever we wanted. So we did.
Awesome. Thank you.
One very last thing, because this wonderful question and the extinguisher in the nuts was a very nice high point to end up on with. But once you were deciding if you're gonna become a hockey player or if you're gonna become an actor, and in a way we can do both for you today, because the players from a hockey team in Brno, Kometa Brno, poprosím, jestli nám přineseš dárek, have a little something for you to come back home with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Když to otočíš, put it up.
That's lovely. Thank you.
So maybe you are not playing for Vancouver Canucks, but you can be playing for Kometa Brno. Oh,
Thank you.
thank you very much,
Thank you,
Michael,
guys.
for this lovely hour with you. See you tomorrow again with Lexa. Thank you so much. To byl Michael Shanks.